Hey, and welcome everybody to another episode of that Worship Guitar Show. We've got an exciting episode planned today, all about making the most of your practice sessions. So let me know where in the world you are tuning in from. If this is your first time watching, also let us know, first time viewer. And if you are catching a replay, please go ahead and comment replay. It's always good to know where people are watching from. And obviously today we're doing the earlier slot, which is our Australian friendly time zone for the folks in Australia that are able to join us a little bit earlier. And then next week we'll be 5 hours later than what we are today. So as we know, obviously, let's start with a scripture that we can connect with guitar playing, or at least draw a parallel to our lesson today. And there's a scripture that says, God will not be mocked. Whatever a person sows, they will reap. And if you're a believer, you definitely know that scripture, and you understand intrinsically what that means for your life, that God will not be mocked. Whatever a man sows, he will reap. So how does that relate to the guitar? Well, I think it's safe to say that as guitarists, we want to reap the ability of growing in our worship guitar skills for the reason that we are able to go ahead and make a big difference in our playing, right? For the reason of actually playing live. So it's not just about worship guitar skills in isolation, it's what it does for us. So we want to grow in our worship guitar skills, and that is what we want to reap. We want to reap growth, and we want to reap impact. Because when we can have that, then we can make a difference with the way that we have been called to serve. I'm just doing a quick check here to see if our audio is getting better. I've just got someone telling me that it's a little bit soft. So we're just double checking if everything is all right here, and if you guys can hear and see me all right. Maybe just let me know in the comment section as well if you can hear and see me okay. And looks like the mic is better there. So as a recap, God will not be mocked. Whatever man sows, he will reap. We as guitar players, as worshippers, as believers, we want to get better in our worship guitar skills so that we can better facilitate moments of worship, because we know that is what we've been created to do. That is the great commandment, to love the Lord your God. It's above the Great Commission. It's above everything else. It's to love the Lord your God. So if that is the main thing, we engage in worship to fulfill that role and function that we've been called to do. So what does that have to do with the episode title? Well, if we want to get better, we need to practice. We all know that. You can't get better by not practicing. And in that same way that, it's about what you sow is what you're going to reap. So you're going to sow time, effort, focus, and attention in your practicing, and then you will reap growth in your ability as a guitar player. And the Bible tells us to play skillfully before the Lord. You'll grow in that ability, and then from there you'll be able to make an impact. So I'm going to show you today how you can go ahead and make some improvements in your playing. Now, first of all, let's just quickly clarify skillful playing. I'm not talking about, crazy shredding, and there are some people in the world with phenomenal skills and talents, and depending on what kind of music you like, that's totally cool. Nothing wrong with that, but the role of us as guitar players, as praising the Lord on stringed instruments, doing all those things that the word encourages us to do, it's a different type of a skill, right? And it's not a skill of like showing off. It's a skill of creating moments where people can go ahead and focus on the Lord. So Chris Nazario is saying, hi, blessings. Hey, Chris. Great to see you. I just need to do a quick little change on the comment section over here so we can get those to come out. So if you are tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from. We are normally a little bit, got a little bit of a lesser attendance for this earlier show, but it's all right. The Australians will find out soon enough that we are doing it at this time, and more people will be joining us here as well. So having said all that, what can you do as it relates to then growing in your skills? And if you guys have any questions, pop them in the comments section below, and I'd happily answer those for you. So I want to give you just a couple of pointers today that in terms of what you can do to improve your worship guitar skills. And we understand that you have to practice. So the very first point there is just to establish some kind of a consistent practice routine. I think I'll go to the iPad here, and then we can just at least capture these notes as we are talking. So number one is you just want to have a consistent practice routine, because that's what we said. You can't expect to reap growth and improvement if you don't have a consistent practice routine. And it's not just about practicing, it's about a routine. That is very important to understand what that actually means. It's a routine, so you need to know actually what is it that you're going to be working on during that practice session, so that you can set aside time for focused practice. Because, you know, it's also possible to spend all the time in a practice session, but they're not actually practicing anything new. Just kind of doing what you've always done, and it's not focused. You're not going to get to where you want to be. Now, the second thing is, once you have that routine, there's obviously different areas that you're going to be working on. But one of the most important things is your rhythm and your timing. I heard a funny thing. Someone said, that guy's rhythm is so bad, he sounds like a drunk octopus trying to play the drums, right? So you don't want to be like that. You want to have a good rhythm so that your playing can be in time and it can feel good. You have a good time feel. So for that, you want to practice with a metronome, or like I'm going to show you today, even practicing with backing tracks, right? Because when you are able to do that, you are able to then go ahead and improve in an area and an environment so that you can improve your timing, your rhythm, your accuracy, and of course your ability to play in sync with the other worshippers on stage with you during worship sessions. That is one of the things that is the most frustrating, both for the players and also for the congregation, even though they might not know it, but the band needs to be in time with each other. That's one of the most important skills. It doesn't matter if you know a million chords, or if you can sweep pick crazy arpeggios all over the neck at breakneck speeds. That doesn't matter if you can't play in time. You know, so you need to be able to play in time with your other musicians, and that is why I highly recommend that you go ahead and practice with some kind of a timekeeping device. And then finally, just for today's lesson, of course there's a lot more, but you want to be able to record yourself when you are playing different things on the guitar. You want to be able to record yourself. And when you are able to do that, you can then listen back to your playing, and then you'll be able to actually hear, all right, great, that is where I'm growing, that is what I'm doing, and out of that point you can see, all right, where do I need to improve? So you can record yourself in your practice sessions, and you can also record yourself in church services, so that afterwards you can listen, all right, how did I do with those, with my improvement or with my playing? Was it in time? Did it sound good? Did it hit the mark? Right? We know that we want to, the Bible says, you shall know a tree by its fruit. So when you are practicing and when you are playing and you're putting in time to grow, what does that fruit look like? And the only way for you to really, one of the best ways for you to see and hear what the fruit looks like is when you can record yourself. It can be a voice note on your phone. It can be a more proper setup on your computer, but just some kind of a way to film and record yourself so that you can go ahead and see what things look like. Now, I'm going to do a quick sound check, and I'm going to show you guys a cool thing that I've got prepared over here. I previously mentioned it's good to have backing tracks to jam with. So let's go to the second cam, and I've got a couple of things that I want to show you. But let's just say I've now just learned a new chord, and I want to go ahead and practice some new chords. Let's say you've learned how to play our 4/2 voicing. So you can play D, G, B minor, and A, or G, D, G, B minor, A, or B, G, B minor, A. It's great to learn those, but if you don't get to use them in a musical way, then you are not really going to be able to improve your playing that much, because let's just see there, we've boosted the volume, so as Simon is saying the volume is a bit low. Please let us know if that's better now, Simon. And he says louder now. It looks like we are good to go there. Fantastic. Let me know what the track is like, because this is what I'm going to show you guys. You don't want to just, of course, first of all, you want to learn the chords so you can play them like I've just shown you. Or maybe instead of playing the 4 2s, you want to do D, sus2, G sus2, B minor, A, add 9. Whatever the chords are, you have to learn the chords, but you need to be able to play them in time. So what I can do now is I can go ahead and play a track like this.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
Guys, let me know what the backing track volume and guitar volume was like, because we're going to do a bit of playing today. But can you see, I played my chords, and then I said to myself, all right, let me go ahead and play the chords in a rhythmic fashion over a track, because when you're going to be playing a song, you're going to have to play it in time. Not only did I play the chords in time to change them, but I could also practice my rhythm, right? Because chords is not just playing the chords by themselves, it's also playing rhythm. So we're going to be talking about that today, and let's quickly go back to the iPad, because I just want to show you something else over here, which is very important for us to understand. Is obviously we know that music consists of multiple things. So what are the 3 things that make up music? If I know we've got a little bit of a delay with the comments, so let me know in the comments section if you can say what are the 3 things that make up music. Well, I'm going to just quickly draw these circles for us, and then we'll cover that and just show you, okay, great, well, how does that all work? So a nice little Venn diagram, there we go. So first of all, you've got rhythm. That is the most important thing, and that's why we're kind of making a point about rhythm today, because you have to play in time. Chords or notes that are not played in the right order and in time is not music, so you need to have rhythm there. The second thing is harmony. So what is harmony? Well, harmony is when you take multiple notes and you play them together. That's going to form a chord, all right? So I'm trying to draw notes here on the screen without having to actually have my having the treble clef. But let's just say if this was music, you've got notes like this, all right? And that is when you play the notes together in harmony, then that's what's going to happen when you play your chords. That's harmony. Melody, on the other hand, well, melody is your third thing. Melody right there. So like talking and drawing at the same time is not my strong suit, but melody is when you take single notes like this and you play things together like that, right, with whatever the case may be. So that is the combination of music. I'm going to boost my voice a little bit more so you guys can hear the voice a bit more. Thanks, Auntie. So those are my 3 elements. It's rhythm, it's harmony, and it's melody. All right, those are the areas that you want to practice over a backing track like I've just shown you. Now, let's go to this video over here. I've got a backing track here, which is one of the tracks that we've got in our Worship Guitar Skills Academy. And as you can see, that is a song called Cornerstone. And this is a video, but it's also got the chords written on top there. So you can actually see the changes in front of you. And there's a little arrow that's going to show you where, what time, which chords are being played. Now I'm just going to jam a little part of this, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'm going to be working on my harmony, being able to play the chords, because when it says when it says to play C, you've got to be able to play C. And when it says to play F, for example, you've got to be able to play F. So that's your harmony. The second thing is your rhythm. Can you change those things in time? So it's your chord changes, but it's also the rhythm that you'll be playing with your left hand or right hand. Sorry, for most it'll be our right hand. And then finally it's melody. Can you play melody over those chords? Now, the resource that you want to be using, if you've got this, is a backing track like I'm showing you right now. If you don't have that, feel free to check the link in the description. I think the team might have put some links over there if you want to get a backing track pack like this to practice. But now let's say I've worked on my chords, and we'll do different types of chords. But let's just first of all say I'm going to do my 4-2 chords. So I've got C, F, G, A minor over G, F, G, and C. Those are my chords. So, okay, great. I'm going to work on my chords the first time around. The second time around, I'm going to try some kind of a rhythm, and then I'll also introduce some lead lines so that I can play at least one of these three things. I'm going to practice them. And excuse my ugly notes there, but there we go. Rhythm, harmony, and melody. Let's go ahead and check this out in the track. Also, let me know what the volume is for the track. And I'm just double checking comments over here. So I'm going to bring the guitar down a little bit. And then the track is now coming from the computer. So let's see that. Kenan can let me know if that's sounding better. And we're going to go ahead and fire this up. And thanks for letting me know about the microphones. I've just gone ahead and changed the mic and brought the guitar down. And Christy said she added the link. So thank you very much for that. All right. So now let's go ahead and play this song, Cornerstone, which is just a backing track. So I'm not going to try and play the actual song. I'm just going to practice the different elements.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, let me know
Verse,
about the track
2,
volume.
3, 4.
I just want to practice my chords. Now I want to practice some rhythms.
Chorus, 2, 3, 4. Intro,
That is a melody over
3,
here.
4. Verse, 2, 3, 4.
Other chords. want to play a little bit of lead.
Instrument 2, 3, 4. Verse 2, 3, 4.
Alright, so I'm going to stop it there for now. But can you see, when I go back to my drawing over here, is I had plenty time over the track to make sure, okay, cool, I play different types of chords, which is harmony. I play different kinds of rhythms, some strumming, some picking, and I also play different kinds of melody lines. But I was able to do all of that in a musical fashion to try and go ahead and say, okay, great, well, let's go ahead and not practice that in isolation, because the risk that you run is practicing these things in isolation, then you don't get a chance to go ahead and practice that in a real world scenario. So one of the best things that you can do there is then just go ahead and find resources like this. I mean, I think there are some free resources available online that will help you with that. And if you're looking for a backing track pack like this, I will go ahead and show you what we've got as part of our Worship Guitar Skills Academy, so that you can go ahead and see if all those things are, if that's something that could be a useful addition to your practice sessions. So one more point I just want to make, which I forgot to mention earlier, is that if, let's just say that Sunday is coming up and you are playing Cornerstone, some folks or most guitar players will go and learn Cornerstone just well enough so that they can at least get through the song on a Sunday, you know, and then next Sunday is different songs, and they just keep learning songs, but they never actually work on the other skills that are needed in order to play those songs. And that's why I drew my artwork here for you earlier: rhythm, harmony, and melody. So you have two options. You can either just learn the songs and just get there on a Sunday, feel not prepared enough, and just kind of making your way through the set list, or you can go ahead and dedicate some time in your playing to go and work on other areas. Like, let's think of your guitar training practice like F1. One of our members sent me a funny F1 video this morning. Auntie sent that over. And if you think of the F1 guys, you know, they've got, obviously they spend a ton of hours in the simulation. They spend a ton of hours driving actually on track as well. And yes, so that's their main thing, is like racing, you know. But there's a lot of activities outside of racing that they are dedicating to their overall performance. So for example, there's like heavy physical training, which might be just your overall fitness, so that you can actually, you know, be fit enough to, you know, drive 70 laps at that grueling pace and everything. There's also strength training, like they have to like lift weights with their heads in order to kind of build that, to be able to deal with all the G forces and those kind of things. And then of course there's all the nutrition, and there's focus exercises, like when they have to tap the little lights that come on, or they've got someone holds the tennis balls and they have to catch them. They don't know which one is going to drop. The reflexes. You see, those things are additional things that they practice. And if you have an F1 driver that never gets involved in any of the physical training to withstand the G-forces, they don't do fitness exercises in order to have the fitness throughout the race, that their nutrition is not on point, and all those kind of things, they only spend time on the track. Versus somebody that spends less time on the track, but they are also preparing the other areas. Who's going to do better? My guess is going to be on a second guy that has got a well-rounded practice session. So just in the same way for worship guitarists, you shouldn't just be on track the whole time, which is just learning songs and struggling to keep up, you know, with everybody else on the track, so to speak, because you're just learning songs Sunday in, Sunday out. Instead, you want to work on these abilities that actually make up the song. So as a F1 driver, you're going to need the reflexes, you're going to need the physical condition, you're going to need the fitness, you're going to need the focus. All those elements, their Venn diagram looks a little bit different than our musical diagram over here, but they have to grow in those areas. So that's why as a worship guitarist, when you're using things like a backing track in different keys, practicing your lead lines, practicing your rhythms, practicing different chord voicings in a specific environment so that you can then go ahead and grow as a guitar player, then it's going to be the same as an F1 driver. That success on track is also determined by the things that they do off track as well. You know, so we've probably all heard, if you look at any sport, if you want to match somebody's on the field performance, you have to also match their off the field preparation. So that's what I've got for you today, and we can do a little bit more jamming, and then let's just see if we got any questions. And Oliver says, let's go ahead and see if we can get that on the screen. Oliver says, that example you just showed was really professional. Thank you for showing that to us. I'm happy to hear that. You're welcome, Oliver. Thanks for the feedback there. So, yeah, I mean, I've got another song here. Let's quickly do that. Let's say I want to work on like single note playing. And let's just say if that's going to load. Yes. So I'm going to work on single note playing. This now is Spirit Move. So I'll let it play and I'll tap my tempo in.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
All right.
Verse.
So I just want to work on single note playing, not the song parts.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
Verse 2, like I've 3, just shown you there. 4. The point that I'm making here is just obviously I was using that as a practice track when playing like lead lines or single notes or whatever the case may be, and I'm just making some stuff up on the spot here for you, but just to show you that if I have that constraint, it's a specific track and a specific key and with a specific progression, then I can go ahead and then use that in my playing. So let me know if you guys have any questions in and around this, and then I can also, if you want to, I can show you real quick in our academy what that looks like if you want to get access to resources like this so that you can go ahead and use that in your playing. And I think if I go to this section, you should be able to see that. So this right here is a look inside of our Worship Guitar Skills Academy. And we've got many different trainings and courses, as you can see over here. But there's our backing track collection 1. And then we've got a backing track collection 2. Very creative names. And then we've got our backing track collection 3, which is the one that I use today. Which actually that has a different name. It's our Worship Guitar Practice Pack, which has access to those songs. So let's look at the very first one that we released many years ago. This one, as you can see, it's got all of these different progressions. So right now I played, that was Spirit Move, and the chords there, I believe I played A, F sharp minor, A, D. So that was a 1, 6, 1, 4 progression. But if you're looking for, you want to practice a 1, 6, 4, 5 or a 4, 1, 5, 6, like let's just say you want to do like Alleluia, right? You can come over here to the 4, 1, 5, 6 section. And then what we've got is a series of tracks. So you can see there's the track 4, 1, 5, 6 in the key of A. And I've got them in many different tempos. I've got them very slow. So if I want to practice a slow tempo, I'll do it like this. Very slow, right? 3, 4. It's very slow. It's going to give you time to think in between your chords. But if you want to do that fast or similar to what we just had before, you can go up to 80 beats a minute. So you can choose what's the progression you want to play, what is the key that you want to play, and then what is the tempo that you want to play. So we've got all these. Let's just say you want to work on scales, but instead of just playing scales on your own, you want to practice the A major scale over that's a minor. Let's go use the G major scale over a pad. Then at least you got a pad that you can practice your scales over in that key, for example. Maybe you want to do all the G chords. You want to go, or the 4 2s. Whatever the case will be, you've got these that you can practice alongside different progressions. In volume 2, we've got what we call a little bit more vibier progression. So if you want to practice something at 1 bar per chord, let me just show you that real quick. So if we do a 6, 4, 1, 5 here in the key of, that's A, and it's 1 bar per chord. So that's going to be F sharp minor, D, A, E. 1 bar per chord. But maybe you're just setting new chords and the changes are a little bit too fast. You want 2 bars per chord. Well, then you come to the same progression. You look for your 6, 4, 1, 5. There it is. You're going to do 2 bars per chord. And now A. And another bar on A. Now E. Anyway, so that's what the two chords per bar is. We've got a couple of songs over there, and in our Worship Guitar Practice Power Pack, there are these songs that I played for you before, and we've also got different progressions that you can go ahead and use in your playing. So that's kind of the idea behind everything I've just shown you over there. Mick was saying that the voice level is still pretty low compared to the guitar track. Alright, I'll just pull that down a little bit. But those are the things that we've got available. If you want to check it out, there's going to be a link in the description. And then with these backing tracks, you'll be able to not just spend all of your time trying to improve doing one thing, which is learning songs. You'll also be able to have a more dedicated, focused practice time by learning and spending time focusing on all of these other elements as well. And that, of course, will be your ability to go ahead and improve in all of those areas. So we've got a few minutes left. I'm happy to answer a couple of questions if you guys have any questions. But just going back to what we said in the beginning, God will not be mocked. Whatever man sows, he will reap. So we can't expect to get better in our guitar playing if we don't spend time practicing, number one. And when it comes to practicing, it's very important just to at least have a consistent practice routine. Use a metronome and backing track so that your playing can be in time, because you can do way more with less chords and less scales and less technique, but good rhythm, than what you can do with a ton of chords, a ton of scales, but bad rhythm. And then record yourself, like I could have recorded myself right now, and then I could have played all of that, back to me and see, okay, you know what, that in a moment something sounded cool, but listening back to it, the timing was off, so I need to work on my timing. Or the strumming was a bit sloppy, or I had some fret buzz, I must improve this or that or the next thing. So that would be what I would recommend. And then, of course, remember, music is rhythm, harmony, and melody. Work on all three things. Don't skip leg day, as they say. You want to do a well-rounded practice so that you can go ahead and improve. All right, so we'll finish off with a couple of questions. Oliver is asking, let me just see if I can make this a bit bigger. Oliver is asking, did you learn the chords and the 4/2 voicings in every key, or do you just know the root notes all over the fretboard perfectly and then adapt the shapes to that? What would be your suggestion? That's a great question, Oliver. In fact, it's something that we are covering right now in our 4-week chord clinic. It just kicked off on Monday. It's basically just 3 shapes. So it's literally just these 3 shapes. A, it's that shape, this shape, and that shape. So that doesn't sound like much. But over here, it's just those 3 shapes. And yes, then I know all of my root notes pretty well, so that I can find them anywhere in a guitar. And this is a little handy hack. You can find all of the Fs immediately like that, and then you'll know where to find the Fs. And then once you have your chord shapes, maybe you know this is a sus2, then you know that this is your root, or that. I've just got to tune up in a bit. But yeah, I know the shapes, and then I just move them to where I need the roots to be. So that is exactly what I do, Oliver, is I know the shapes pretty well, and I know where the root notes are. Because that's the thing, is you can, for example, and I don't know if you guys have done this, but I've done this many times, where I go and listen to a song that I have to play on a Sunday, and maybe it's that Cornerstone song that I played earlier, and I know the intro starts with that. And I know that we're going to do it in C, so I learned the song there in C, and I learned the line, but then another day goes by, or another week or whatever, and then 2, 3, 4 weeks, and a different worship leader leads the song, and they want to do it in A flat. Then I memorize the line like it's a lick in one place. But as soon as I have to play it in A flat, then I don't actually know what to do or how to move it. Well, the right way to do that is if you know the song is in C, and then that line starts on the 4th. So if you're doing it in A flat, then that line is going to start on the 4th, which is then going to be a D flat. So just knowing how to do those kind of things, it's very important, because then you can move things around. Like if you were to learn... there's so many songs, like, what are some of the most famous riffs? The riffs that they ban in guitar stores. So like Stairway to Heaven, for example, that's in A minor. So you're always going to play Stairway to Heaven in A minor because of the intro riff that starts here, and then the open chords with the strummy bits that start here, and then your solo with A minor pentatonic. If you have to play that one in A flat, most guitarists will either then detune their guitar, because you can't play an A flat with the open chords. When you play traditional rock or blues like that, If you look at Stevie Ray Vaughan, he had a lot of the stuff with, obviously he tuned down to E flat, but it was basically E pentatonic scale, just detuned to E flat. But if you have to play, if you had to play all that stuff quickly in F, he's going to struggle because it doesn't fit with the open strings and a typical guitar playing. That's where it's different for us as worship guitarists, is we have to be able to play in any key. And that's why Oliver is saying, oh yeah, I see you know the notes perfectly. I guess that's the key to learn the rest. 100%. Just learn your notes, learn the shapes, and then move the shapes to where you need those notes to be. So there we go, guys. Hopefully that's useful. I'll do a quick recap. You want to have a consistent practice routine, use a metronome, or even better, backing track so that you can practice in a musical setting, and then record yourself and listen back to that. And then finally, obviously, this is your 3 areas of music. Your rhythm, whether you pick, whether you strum, whether you play single notes, they have to happen in a rhythm. Then, of course, when you combine notes together, they form chords, and then your melodies is going to be single notes played in succession, like we demonstrated before. And if you do those kind of things, and you remember that F1 analogy we used, it's not just about your track on time, it's also your time off track that's going to help you to perform better on track. So for us, that's going to be, the track for us happens to be the stage where we stand and we play, and we, first and foremost, we worship the Lord, and secondly, we get to lead others to follow us in that regard. So in order to maximize your, and performance is not the right way, the right word, because it's not a performance of looking at me, but performance in the context of how well you can play songs and how well you're prepared. In order to maximize the level of skill, you need to spend time off track or off stage, not just learning songs, but learning the elements that make up the songs. Well, thank you so much, guys. That was another awesome episode. Great to see everybody. And for those watching the replay, we alternate the shows. 1 week it's happening this time. Obviously, we started around 50 minutes earlier, and then the next week we will be 5 hours later. So we alternate them. 1 week is Aussie time friendly, another week is American time friendly. So OG McFire, just say hi everybody. So yeah, for those of you catching replay, please leave us a comment, please share, please like. These things help us to get the videos in front of more people. And if you know another worship guitarist, please share our channel with him. We've got tons of resources. And in fact, we'll go and link it after the show as well. We've got some of those backing tracks uploaded to the channel as well. So if you're looking for some worship guitar backing tracks, you can go ahead and grab those. And of course, we've got the packs that are linked for you in the description. All right, much love to everybody. We will see you guys next week, starting at, I believe, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will be our 4 p.m. in South Africa, and I think also like 4 p.m. for a couple of places in Europe. All right, guys, have a good one, and we shall see you on the next one. Bye-bye.